A single realization changed Jake's life. Forever. For years, a rude comment could ruin his day. A criticism could stay in his mind for hours. And one person's opinion could completely change his mood. Then he discovered something most people never realize. The majority of reactions people have are not really about you. They're about their stress, their fears, their frustrations, their problems. And the moment Jake understood that, everything changed. Criticism stopped feeling like an attack. Judgment lost its power. And for the first time in years, he felt free. This is the story of Jake, and the psychological secret behind people who never take things personally. Jake wasn't born this way. In fact, if there were an Olympic event for overthinking, Jake would have won gold. One afternoon, he sent a text to his friend Mark. "Hey, want to grab lunch tomorrow?" 5 minutes passed, no reply. 10 minutes, nothing. An hour, still nothing. By that point, Jake had already created an entire movie in his head. Maybe Mark was angry. Maybe he was offended. Maybe he didn't want to be friends anymore. Maybe Jake had done something wrong months ago and never realized it. By dinner, Jake was emotionally exhausted. The next morning, Mark finally replied, "Sorry, my phone died." That was it. No hidden meaning, no secret conflict, just a dead battery. Jake had spent an entire evening fighting an imaginary problem, and this wasn't unusual. It happened all the time. A coworker walked past without saying good morning. Jake thought he was being ignored. A cashier sounded impatient. Jake assumed she disliked him. Someone disagreed with him online. Jake acted as if he had been personally attacked. Looking back, it sounds ridiculous. But if we're honest, most of us have done exactly the same thing. We take a tiny piece of information, and our brains write a dramatic story around it. Jake's brain deserved a Hollywood contract. Then came what he later called the sandwich incident. One Friday afternoon, Jake visited a small sandwich shop near work. He ordered the exact same sandwich he always ordered. Turkey, cheese, extra lettuce. Nothing complicated. The employee making it looked annoyed. Not just annoyed, furious. Every ingredient hit the bread like it had personally offended him. Tomato, slam. Cheese, slam. Lettuce, slam. Jake stood there thinking, what did I do? The employee handed over the sandwich without smiling. Jake left convinced the guy hated him. The entire walk back to the office, he kept replaying it. Why was he so rude? What was his problem? Why treat me like that? A week later, Jake returned. Same shop, same employee. This time the man greeted him with a huge smile, asked about his day, even gave him a free cookie. Jake was confused. Eventually, he learned the truth. The previous week, the employee had just gone through a painful breakup. The day Jake ordered his sandwich happened to be one of the worst days of his life. Jake wasn't the problem. Jake wasn't even a factor. The employee had been fighting a battle Jake knew nothing about. And suddenly a question appeared in Jake's mind. How many other things had he taken personally that were never about him in the first place? That question stayed with him. A few weeks later, he met someone who would completely change his perspective. An older coworker named David. David was fascinating. People complained about him, criticized him, sometimes blamed him for things that weren't even his fault. Yet somehow, he remained calm. Not fake calm, actually calm. One day, Jake finally asked him, "How do you do it?" David laughed. "Do what?" "Stay relaxed when people are upset with you." David leaned back in his chair. Then he said something surprisingly simple. Because most people are arguing with their own lives. Jake frowned. David continued. Think about it. The angry customer isn't always angry at you. The stressed driver isn't angry at you. The rude coworker isn't always angry at you. They're carrying stress from somewhere else. And sometimes you just happen to be standing nearby. Jake couldn't stop thinking about that. Sometimes you just happened to be standing nearby. So he decided to run an experiment. For 30 days, every time someone upset him, he asked one question. What if this isn't about me? The results shocked him. A driver cut him off in traffic. Instead of getting angry, Jake looked over. The guy was desperately trying to get somewhere. Maybe a hospital. Maybe an emergency. Jake didn't know, and that was the point. He didn't know. A coworker snapped at him during a meeting. Later he discovered she had been awake all night with a sick child. A friend seemed distant. Turns out he was struggling financially and didn't want to talk about it. Again and again. The pattern repeated. People were carrying invisible burdens, and Jake had been treating every burden as a personal attack. Now, this doesn't mean everyone is innocent. Some people are rude. Some people are unfair. Some people genuinely mean what they say. Jake learned that too. But he also learned something equally important. Feedback and projection are not the same thing. If someone says, "There's a mistake in this report," that's feedback. If someone says, "You're completely useless," that's often projection. One helps you improve. The other reveals something about the speaker. Learning the difference changed everything. Months later, Jake faced the ultimate test. During an important meeting, he presented an idea he'd worked on for weeks. Halfway through, a coworker interrupted him. "I don't think this is a good idea." The room went silent. Old Jake would have panicked. He would have replayed the moment for days, maybe weeks. But this time, he simply asked, "Which part concerns you?" The coworker explained. Some of the criticism was valid, some wasn't. Jake kept the useful part, ignored the emotional noise, and moved on. The meeting ended. Life continued. No overthinking, no imaginary arguments in the shower, no mental replay at 2 a.m. Just peace. That's when Jake finally understood. The strongest people aren't the ones who never get criticized. They're the ones who don't let every criticism become part of their identity. Because the truth is, people are fighting battles you'll never see. They're carrying fears you'll never hear about. And sometimes their reactions have absolutely nothing to do with you. The moment you understand that, you stop carrying emotional baggage that was never yours. You stop living inside other people's opinions. And for the first time, you become free. Not because the world changed, but because the way you see it did.